Hey guys, it's Chris with Nichols Retirement Empire. School is about to start back. And that's a time of year, if you think about it, it's where everybody is excited about coming back to school. They want to talk about what they did this in the summer. They want to see their new friends and their old friends and, see who all is there at the school. It's a new year. They can go in, they can make fun of the new principal or make fun of the new teachers that are there, that kind of thing. And hey, you see the new guy, that kind of stuff. They're excited to catch up with each other. They're excited, about learning and, like I said, everything's new and what's going to happen this year. What kind of year are we going to have? So everybody's all excited. And then they get to school and you got all this excitement and then we crush them. The excitement ends very quickly. It is over. And while I was saying all that, you're probably thinking about the kids. I'm talking about the teachers. The teachers come in and a lot of times they're new, they're excited, and we crush them. So let me explain to you what I'm talking about, why teachers quit on Nichols Retirement Empire. It is what happens. We have 5 days of pre-planning for this school district where we live. And you're thinking, wow, 5 days. I mean, they can get a lot done in 5 days. They can, work on their lesson plans. They can get their room all fixed up. And they can, out of that 5 days that they have, they're going to get to spend about 1 day getting their room ready, actually preparing for the lessons that they're going to teach their students. They'll probably get about 1 day. The rest of the days are going to be taken up by meeting after meeting or training session after training session after training. That's all it is for days on end. When they are just chomping at the bit to get ready for the kids, because the kids are coming. They're going to be here on, in 4 or 5 days. I'm going to have kids in my classroom. I need to be. That takes a back seat every year to the things that the administrators in the school and the district has to do. So let's look at some of the reasons why they do that, why that happens. The first one I'll throw out there, because it's the time of year, is testing. There are so many tests that they give. They may be giving 5, 6 different tests over the course of the year. Some of them are for state information and state data. Some of them are for national. Some of them are just for the school district local testing. But they have to be prepared to give and plan for giving all of this testing, and the teachers have to be ready to know what is going to be tested so that they can adjust what they are teaching to fit what is going to be tested. And they have to take time out to plan for that. They have to take time out of their teaching time for the kids to take the test. It is just a huge undertaking. There are whole portions of the district office that are completely dedicated just to testing. They have offices and secretaries and people working for them, and then in the school there are people responsible for testing, and they have to, it's just a big, huge thing. A second reason is data. Thanks to technology today. Now, when all the stuff with computers and technology came out, we were all excited because it was going to save us all this time, and we won't need books anymore, and we can do, and the computer will do our grading for us. And if I want a lesson plan, there's a lot of great things about technology. If I want a lesson plan, man, I can look something up and have it like immediately. I don't have to think of how to do it or make up a lesson plan, which I used to have to spend all my time thinking about stuff like that. Now all that stuff is at the touch of my fingers. I can get it immediately. So you're thinking, wow, technology's great. But there's an underside to the technology. Because of technology, you can collect a huge amount of data. And what data does, as far as school districts and the government, how they think of it, is the data really proves how much kids are learning, and the data proves whether or not you're teaching the right thing and the kids are learning the right thing. And then you can prove it further by testing. So data is the answer to everything. You're having discipline issues, Just, collect all the data and find out, what is the root of the discipline issues. Let's find out exactly what's happening. I could have 6th grade data, 7th grade data, 8th grade data, all separate. I could have every discipline event that occurred. I could have what time of day all the discipline events occurred. I could have whether it was girls or boys. I could have, is it black kids or white kids? I could have, is it kids that are failing and kids that are passing? I could break it down into, is it boys, that have 3rd period PE? I could have it broken down in every kind of a way. I could produce quickly pages and pages and pages of discipline data that you could look at and you could say, what is going on? Now, all the data is great. You can produce all this data. The problem is going through the data takes just an inordinate amount of time to go through all that data and try to track down and figure out exactly what it's telling you. And you can spend hours and hours and hours doing that. The problem is you don't have hours and hours and hours and hours. And a lot of the stuff that the data tells you, a professional teacher that has experience and is on top of their game can just look at you and tell you straight out without you. It's not, I could sit here and I could tell you, what's the problem? Well, boys are going to have more issues than girls in middle school. I don't need 75 pages of data to tell me that. 6th grade kids are going to have more stuff, more referrals for horseplay and playing around because they're in 6th grade, and they're still like elementary school kids and they want to grab each other and and fight. But I don't need 75 pages of data to tell me that. 8th grade girls are not going to get along and they're going to have a lot of fusses with each other and they're going to do stuff on social media to each other and they're all going to kind of be just mean and all that kind of stuff and fuss and fight and get in groups and disagree. I don't need 75 pages. I know that stuff. I know. The teachers know it. The teachers don't need all the testing to tell them what the kids don't know. We don't need your data. The teachers know, if they're a good teacher, they know if the kids are learning, they know what they're supposed to teach them, and they can tell you what the kids know and don't know if they're good, if they keep up with it every day. Now, some teachers need all that data, but sometimes the amount of time we spent going through the data is not worth the information that we got because it was stuff we already knew. You're telling me stuff I already know. I don't need that to tell me this. But that's part of it. So data, well, they're sitting in these classes and stuff for 4 days learning about stuff that the data has told us that half the teachers already knew. So, data, technology. All right, a third reason are curriculum changes. The curriculum, especially math, over the last probably 10 years, math has changed and changed and changed and changed. And, the teachers, when you have a curriculum, the curriculum is what tells the teachers what to teach. It tells the testing companies what to test. It tells the whole state what they are supposed to be learning. And the curriculum is your guide for your school and your classroom of what you teach. And that's good. It's good to have that direction and to know what you're going to teach and not have to wonder and not have to figure it out and not have to come up with it on your own. They tell you. And that's really great until, you spend a whole year learning about this new curriculum and how to teach it and how kids respond to it and what I need to do in the classroom. And then they turn around next year and they change it completely. And then you get new books and you get new programs and then you learn it again and what's the best way to teach this, and the kids have a hard time with this but they understand this and I need to adjust my teaching. And then you come back the next year and they change it again. And then you come back the next year and they change it again. And then they have to tell you about it, and they have to bring in all these experts to explain to you why the curriculum has been changed and why this curriculum is better than the old curriculum and why in the future everybody's going to learn this way and this curriculum, and they have to sell you on the new curriculum every time they change the curriculum, because every time they do it, every teacher in the state is like, oh, well, here we go again, another curriculum. Could I please just teach them how to add and subtract and quick? That happens over and over and over and over, and teachers get frustrated with it. And then the last one, let's wrap this up. The last one, there are larger administrations than there used to be, and I mean in the schools and in the districts. If you go back before we had computers, district administrations were not very big. You didn't have a huge amount of people working at the district office. The district office was a little building. It had 5 or 6 people in it, and half of those were secretaries, and there wasn't a lot going on. Today, the district office is a huge building with all kind of people working in it, covering all kind of different areas of curriculum and safety and you name it, nutrition. I mean, you have all these people working for the school district, and then you get into the school and you used to have a principal, and some schools didn't even have assistant principals. Well, now you got principals, you got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 assistant principals, you got curriculum people, you got special ed administrators, you just have all these administrators. Well, what does that have to do with taking up time? Well, it takes up time because every person that is an administrator has some kind of job that's very important, or they wouldn't be an administrator. And so if you are the administrator over safety for the school district, then you're responsible for all the teachers in the school district learning about the safety things that need to occur in the schools. And so you have to, every one of these people has something that they need to tell the teacher, that they need to know, that they need to be aware of. And so when you take 50 people that have something they have to tell the teacher, that's time that gets taken so the administrator can explain to the teachers what it is they're supposed to know. And in the past, it was just the principal would come in, talk to everybody, tell them what he expected for the school year. Y'all got 3 days, get your room ready. Good luck. If you got any questions, come ask me, whatever. Now it's this administrator comes up and talks for an hour. This other administrator comes up and talks for the hour. Some guy from the school district comes in, he talks to you for 2 hours. Then another administrator comes in and they talk to you about something different for an hour. I mean, every one of them has something to tell you, and it takes up all of your time. You don't get to get ready for the school year unless you did it before you came to pre-planning. And the teachers get frustrated. They get frustrated. And it's not the district, it's not those people's fault that they do that. They can't help but they have to do it. The state requires them to do it. The government, federal government requires them to do it. But as a teacher, when you go in and you got 5 days and the kids are coming to school after that 5 days and you are ready to teach, and then you sit in meetings for 4 days, it crushes you. That's why a lot of teachers quit. They get frustrated. They get tired of it. And if you're not a person that can put up with that, you don't stay into teaching for 30 years. So anyway, Nichols Retirement Empire. Guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day.